Alright. So, today's stream we're looking at... Well, first off, welcome to the SwordCove. I'm Sword. And today, we're going to be starting out by looking at some marathon videos. I want to take a look at some of these things. And, you know, I want to cover it. I'm going to be covering it whenever the game releases. I'm going to be covering all their trailers and everything like that that comes out. So, they just dropped a new runners video. I really want to check that out. And so, we're going to take a look at that. And, get that pulled up. Last restart.
Runner shells is what we're calling the bioprinted bodies that you, the runner, inhabit when you go down to Tau Ceti. Each of our launch shells is really an archetype of gameplay.
So abilities, passives, stat packages married to a very distinct silhouette that then players can look at, 50, 60 meters away and say, oh, I know what that is. I know what that player is capable of. And I can start to think about how to counteract it.
One of the things we really want to do from the buildcrafting side is making sure that we're providing people ingredients instead of giving them a recipe. Figuring out what you want for your build that is unique, and you do that across cores, you do that across implants, you do that across weapon mods. Cores are powerful standalone perks that can be used in combination with each other to shift the gameplay style of your runner kit. We also want to make sure that there are interesting combinations of things that work together, but they have hooks that go out into the other systems, so you can create this like crazy Rube Goldberg machine.
Depending on your playstyle, if you're like someone who hangs back and likes to snipe, you're someone who likes close quarters combat and you're going to rush in, you're going to want to cater the items that you're finding differently.
The idea there is like, have a broad spectrum that everyone can kind of find a little bit of a home to, and then we're going to build on top of that. Destroyer is aggressive, brutal, whereas a modified, futuristic version of the Mjolnir armor from the original trilogy.
The shell is designed to get into the fight as fast as possible and stay there. It comes equipped with thrusters on its legs that let it sprint faster, or you can use them for a quick lateral evade.
A riot barricade so that they can generate presence and they can generate almost like aggro for their team.
Prime ability is Search and Destroy, which activates shoulder-mounted missile pods that fire heat-seeking missiles.
They have a way to lock down targets over sustained fire, which immobilizes them and allows your team to follow up.
Our Assassin Shell is built for players that like to play slow and quiet. It's very much a classic, backline infiltrator. It has a dive ability that can be used to negate fall damage from any height.
Their tactical ability is invisibility. You pull this shroud of invis over yourself. You can sprint during it, you can mantle during it.
Saw this
but
back
the
in
faster you move, the more visible you're going to become.
trailers.
And if you take any actions, heal, shoot, get shot, you'll reveal yourself for a short duration.
So anything takes off invis. That's
Their
good.
prime
That's good.
ability sends out this disc. It creates this plumes of smoke that you can enter into. And then when combined with their passive shroud, they go invisible when they enter smoke. The whole thing here is be invisible, be sneaky, and then enshroud the world in smoke.
That's some good invis.
Originally, Recon was called internally
actually
Fun
hard to
Police. That really is the core kind of fantasy. It's about hunting people down. It's about playing detective. If you want to find all the assassin shells on the map, Recon is the shell you want to use. It comes with a tracker drone that you can toss out a little spider friend that crawls along the ground and will track towards enemies and explode. And that explosion overheats the target.
They can't move, they can't sprint, they're taking tick damage, and they help you lock down a target so you can pursue them. And for their prime, Recon has this really awesome helmet that splits open and they tap in these cool key codes. It opens up and pulses and it sends out this wave that detects both AI and players and marks them for you.
And when you break the shield of somebody as a Recon shell, they leave holographic footprints behind. So even if they run away, you can follow that trail and they'll lead right to them.
And then finally
like that.
awareness, where
That's dope.
if you get pinged, it'll actually tell you that someone like sees you. You won't know where, but you'll be able to be on high alert that somebody saw you and is marked you.
Vandal is our shell that is, just by its very nature, more agile than our other shells. It has microjets that let it do a double jump. It has a power slide that goes much further than our normal sprint slide.
Their prime overloads their movement system so they can commit and chain all those actions together. They're about getting in and out, causing chaos.
The arm cannon for Vandal unfolds, and you find a big-ass gun barrel inside. You can use it to knock people out of cover. You can use it to knock people off of buildings, which is way more fun than knocking them out of cover.
The number of times we've knocked people off of field maintenance is like, it is a great thing.
Yeah.
Marathon is a game that is all about finding the best stuff on the map, so we felt like we needed to have a shell that was sort of built for the loot goblin fantasy. That is Thief to a T. Thief's trade ability is X-ray visor, where you flip down your visor, you can see containers through walls, you can see enemies that are within line of sight.
Yo, it's even got a like a rarity
Their
color
prime
on
is
it.
pickpocket drone, where they deploy this like elegant origami mechanicalized butterfly. It has like a mechanical whip that it can send out, and that knocks loot out of both players and AI, and then it can stuff that loot back up with the same whip. Or you can use it for recon. You can fly around, you can ping, those pings are shared to your squad.
The Thief shell also has a built-in grappling device that is embedded right in the forearm. You shoot out a dart. Mid-flight, it unfolds into this propeller that pulls you along, and you can swing away to safety.
That's nice.
The recharge rate for the
really
grapple
nice.
and their base handling and stats will go up as you fill the backpack. So the idea is to become a loot goblin, right? Steal as much as you can and get out.
The Triage shell
So
is our
this is
shell
new.
for support players.
Yeah,
if you
I
want
don't
to
think
keep your
we've seen
allies
this yet.
kicking so they can kick back, we have Triage for you.
They're equipped with these awesome like capacitive gauntlets where
Was that-
you activate them and then you can overcharge them and send out these tendrils that then like shock you back to life. Their tactical ability, they actually have these giant drones attached to the legs and they pull them out, and it's a little buddy, he's got a little face, and you give him a high five and send him on his way, and he'll come and
I like
hover
that.
over your shoulder and provide you with shields and health.
Triage is really a combat medic, so we knew we needed to give it an ability that was useful for firefights.
They've got two traits. The first one is a trait ability called Battery Overcharge, where they overcharge their capacitive gauntlets, which makes their weapons performance better. And if you're using battery weapons specifically, breaking shields will EMP targets,
That's
and that
nice.
becomes an on-ramp to like a whole new layer of build crafting. And then they have the second trait, Shareware, which is really cool, which is any buddies that have medi drones on them, any consumable you use will get like copied to them. So you kind of almost are this like battle medic that's like constantly running triage on your team.
Sometimes you
Frame.
just want to take a breather after a bunch of runs and just kind of go on a run to just see what happens. And Rook is really fun for that.
Picking Rook automatically opts you into queuing in solo. You're able to enter into a match in progress, and you're given a starting kit. You're not allowed to bring anything in. That's almost to your advantage because you risk nothing, and anything you take out is yours to keep.
Instead of focusing on like progression and questing and things of that sort, it's a mode where we make it easy for you to just kind of drop into a match that's in progress and run about
so it's
and
already
try to
been going
scavenge
for
as
a
much
little
as
bit.
possible and get out with it so that
So
you
it's
can
like a free
populate
loadout,
your vault a little bit
basically.
more for
Like in our
future
Raiders
runs.
terms,
Rook
it's
has a
free
tactical ability that
loadout.
lets it
Or like a
blend
scav
in
run.
with UVSC forces. So you've
Kinda-
activated a little mask appears over your face, and
like
you are
target.
not perceived by the UVSC as hostile. This lets you kind of get in, grab a little bit of loot, and then bail.
One of the things that I've really enjoyed about Rook is the added tension. Midway through a session, even though you've known like a few crews got taken out, or maybe you've taken out crews yourself, you don't know how many new players get injected through Rook.
Ultimately, Rook is a morality test, so you have a couple of options when you see a Rook. Either you're a decent person and you drop them a piece of loot and let them be on their merry way, or you are a monster and you blast them in the face. And I'm not going to say which one I am. I blast a lot of Rooks.
Looks pretty good.
Welcome back. So Bungie
Looks pretty
released.
good. Mylene, you're great, but I need my video back. And then, I don't know, let's run through this real quick. So, build crafting, right?
One of the things we really want to do from the build crafting side is making sure that we're providing people ingredients instead of giving them a recipe. Figuring out what you want for your build that is unique, and you do that across cores, you do that across implants, you do that across weapon mods.
So, I mean, say what you want about Destiny and however you feel about it or whatever else like that, but the build crafting in Destiny 2 is actually really good. I think it's amazing. I think it has a lot of depth to it between their aspects and fragments and whatnot. Like for a new player, it's like super overwhelming. But once you understand everything and once you know what you're looking at, the like ceiling potential, especially with the new stats rework and how they work nowadays, like I mean the power ceiling is so high. And now listen, I highly doubt that we're gonna have anywhere near the level of like Destiny build crafting with this, because at the end of the day, like this is still like it's a competitive field, right? There's still PvP, things still need to have balance, and I know they struggle enough as it is to keep Destiny balanced with how much stuff they have all over the place on there. And these characters also have very distinct abilities and identities that are meant to play specific ways, whereas Destiny's built for your characters to have a lot of variety in how they can play. So they got cores and stuff. I know they showed off a core in here.
Powerful standalone perks that can be used in combination
Okay,
with each
so
other.
blast off. Knockback no longer deals self-damage, instead propelling you away from the blast. And so requires Vandal. So this is for her arm blast. And basically like if you play Destiny like Danger Close, right? I mean, you throw that on with like a micro missile GL, and you know you could just launch yourself. Or if you like Fortnite, the little impulse grenade things. I can't remember what they're called. I don't really play Fortnite, but I know that they're in there. And so this is like, but this kind of adds on to like some movement tech options for Vandal. Which also, like, I'm like 89% sure that all of these names are entirely new names. I know for a fact, Destroyer used to be called Locust, and Recon used to be called Blackbird, and I'm pretty sure Vandal used to be called Glitch or something like that. Now, I'll say like, I think Blackbird is a really cool name, and I think that like Locust was a dope name. But I mean, these names, like the new names list what these characters are doing pretty blatantly, which I mean, I don't feel like you always need to do that, but I'm not opposed to it. I don't see a problem with it. I think Destroyer still is a cool name. I like Vandal. I think that's a dope name. But anyways, let's continue on here. So they got the cores. They're going to be able to equip
Things that work together.
let's look at this. So then we got implants. So we have cores and implants. Graceful landings deal damage to nearby hostiles after a long fall. Okay, so this is where the build crafting comes in, right? Obviously, you can take your core that you have that allows you to launch yourself into the air with your arm cannon. And maybe you do that from a really high height, and maybe you like go off of like a second story and you got people below you, and then you just drop down on them, and it causes that like that AOE and whatnot. It doesn't say Vandal required, so I would assume that you can use it with anybody. I'm already thinking Assassin with his Prime ability with graceful landings would actually be really nice, because his Prime ability, as I'll explain later, is like you can fall from any height and not take damage, and whenever you land, you pop smoke, go invis, right? And using that and combining it with here with graceful landings is a really, there's a lot of like, doesn't look like it has any knockback, but that's fine because you're going invis. They can't see anything because of the smoke, and they're taking damage from the landing. I mean, there's a lot of build options already. They got to take into consideration. I mean, even like a thief, right? She has the grappling hook. Dog, I love build crafting. All right, and then we also got the weapons and stuff here too. Now, I don't think they necessarily went into weapon build crafting by any means. I mean, they showed off some modifications and stuff, but what those like attachments and things. And but my question is, are we gonna get like attachments, not necessarily attachments, but maybe like modifications, like almost essentially like a core but for the gun, right? You can get a core for a specific gun that changes the way it works a little bit. Like something like that would be really cool. They may have mentioned something like that and I just missed it. We got our destroyer shell.
Aggressive, brutal.
I'm actually
whereas
pretty
the
stoked for the
modified,
destroyer
futuristic
shell.
version of the
I mean,
Mjolnir armor from the original
I'm always
trilogy.
got
The shell is designed
I'm always
to
a fan
get into the fight
of like
as fast as possible
tanky
and stay there.
characters
It comes
and
equipped
like
with thrusters
I mean
on
that
its legs
shield,
that let it
the
sprint
air
faster,
dodge.
or you can use them for a quick lateral evade.
I mean,
A riot barricade so that they can
as
generate
a
presence,
Twilight
and they
Oath
can generate like
enjoyer,
almost like aggro for their team.
Prime ability
Pretty
is Search
excited.
and Destroy, which activates shoulder-mounted missile pods.
okay,
that
so
fire
that's his prime ability. So let's take a look at that 27. Is that his magazine or is that?
is Search and Destroy, which activates shoulder-mounted missile pods that fire heat-seeking missiles.
Oh, that's how long?
They have a way to lock down targets.
That's the
Which
timer?
activates shoulder-mounted missile pods that fire heat-seeking missiles.
They have a way to lock down targets
Yo, that's
over sustained
busted.
fire, which immobilizes them and allows your team to follow them.
It kind of looks like our charges up here. It kind of seems like it's based off of damage you're doing. This is nice. This shield is nice. Like, you're going to be able to, like, get super aggressive. And, I mean, you push in on people like that, and, I mean, some people don't know what to do. I think eventually, like, this game will probably get really competitive. I mean, it's a first-person shooter. You got enhanced movement for some of these characters. And, I mean, you got these crazy abilities. I mean, it's bound to get pretty sweaty in this game. So, better be ready. But this... Yeah, I'm a fan of this.
Like, almost like
this
aggro
character, I'm really
for
excited
their
to play this
team.
character.
Prime
This runner.
ability is Search and Destroy, which activates
He's definitely
shoulder-mounted
like
missile
on my
pods
list of
that fire
one of the first I'll
heat-seeking
probably pick
missiles.
up. Maybe the first I pick up. I like his
They
vibe.
have a way to lock down targets over sustained fire, which immobilizes them. and
Okay, so
allows you-
sustained fire. That's what it is. When you land enough sustained hits fire. Maybe it's just fire, but it kind of looks like hits because I don't think this is really charging up until he's actually hitting somebody. But that damage though, like it seems like how fast does he knock this guy out?
down targets over sustained fire, which immobilizes them and allows your team to follow them.
It's pretty nice. But it doesn't seem like the rockets do like. It seems like they're going to be really nice, specifically for when you have a ton of ads that you're dealing with in a certain area. I don't necessarily think that. I mean, I think it'll also be like kind of deadly in a firefight because they have tracking on them, right? You don't have to be accurate. It doesn't seem like they're necessarily nuking other players, right? Like the damage on it doesn't seem crazy. And you know, I'm totally fine with that. I don't really need those rockets to be just a win button. But Destroyer looks really dope. I'm pretty stoked to try him out. I think he's going to be really good. Let's go ahead and
Our
look at
assassin
the
shell is
assassin.
built for players who like to play slow and quiet. It's very much a classic, backline infiltrator. It has
Okay, so let's
it's
look at that
very much
invis.
a classic,
Look at that.
backline
Look at that. Hold up.
shell is built for players who like to play slow and quiet. It's very much a classic.
He's right there. Listen. That's some serious invis, all right? I come from like, I mean, obviously I mentioned earlier in the video, like Destiny, that's my game, right? Hunter Invis is not like crazy good, right? It's not really that good. They're very visible for something that's supposed to be invis. I think the thing with Hunter Invis is that when you have a lot of particle effects going on, there's a lot going in the combat, and you have enough stuff that's keeping you distracted, then in PvP, the invis works. But when you're already looking for players and you're not already shooting people, you can pick up on a hunter easily. This guy right here, nah, you're not seeing that guy. Now, I will say they do mention later in this snippet right here that literally anything pulls them out of invis. And even if you land a single shot on this guy, you're good. So if you see the assassin go invis, I mean, you just spray the area, and as long as one stray bullet hits him, I mean, you shut down that ability. But an assassin's gonna be able to like really sneak up on you pretty well. So I mean, having a recon on your team is gonna be really nice. I think it's just gonna depend on like how much of a problem the assassin turns out to be, right? I mean, that's a pretty big upper hand, isn't it? Like,
You know, backline infiltrator. It has a dive ability that can be used to negate fall damage from any height.
yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. If you combine that ability,
Has a dive ability that can be used to negate
you
fall
just
damage
drop,
from any height.
you don't take any damage, it negates all the fall damage. If you just take that ability and you combine it with the implant that we saw earlier, where you drop from a high height and it causes damage to any enemies or players around you when you landed, that's going to be good because they took damage, they can't see you, and you're invis, and even if they shoot you, you're still in the smoke cloud, so you're just going to go back invis before you leave anyways. So because as long as you're within a smoke cloud, you just go invis as like part of the passive, like, which is
The tactical ability
a very
is
strong move,
invisible.
which means you're going to be able to run smokes. Like if you just pick up smoke bombs and like in the wild and run it on your, I mean, that's going to be like a good option to run.
Their prime ability sends out this disc. It creates this like plumes of smoke that you can enter into, and then when combined with their passive shroud, they go invisible when they enter smoke. The whole thing here is like be.
Okay, so it's not the dive ability is not the prime ability. That is, which I'm still kind of trying to figure out. Is it just a smoke bomb?
Disc. It creates this like plumes of smoke that you can enter into, and then when combined with their passive shroud, they go invisible when they enter smoke. The whole thing here is like be invisible, be sneaky, and then enshroud the world in smoke.
My thing is like, if it's just a smoke, right? Especially if they already have smoke bombs in the game, like it can't just be that, right? I think if it would, unless it's like a particularly large smoke bomb, or maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe it's like a few smoke bombs that you throw out, sure.
Originally, Recon was called
Recon's
internally
gonna be
Fun
crazy.
Police. That really is the core kind of fantasy. Over
Okay, there's a lot to break down in here. So for starters, this gun right here, it looks like we got a,
the shell you
I'm
want
talking
to
a lot in Destiny terms, but there's a lot of like this game is very Destiny coded, right? Like it's got a lot of that soul in it. Destiny PvP is like, it's really good. It hasn't been updated hardly at all. But what's there is good. And but this looks like essentially like a linear fusion where it just like you had the charge up and then the hit. It doesn't even look like he got a crit on him.
It comes.
I'm also just not realizing.
If you want to find all the assassin shells on the map, Recon is the shell you want to use. It comes with a tracker drone that you can toss.
It could just be because it's all cinematic right now, but I'm not seeing like damage numbers or like hit markers or anything like that. Which is, I'm assuming it's probably just because this is, I don't know, maybe it's like a few smoke bombs that you throw out, and then the hit. It doesn't even look like he got a crit on him. I'm also just not realizing. They're just trying to show off gameplay and stuff like that. They're just trying to show off the characters and what they can do. I'll have to actually go back and see like an earlier gameplay vid.
Spider friend that crawls
That's
along
cool.
the ground
This spider,
and will track towards enemies and explode. And that explosion overheats the target.
They can't move, they can't sprint, they're taking tick damage, and they like help you lock down a target so you
dog. Oh man. Recon's gonna be annoying to fight against. So we got wall hacks. We got she'll know when she's pinged, and I mean that drone, and also I will say that tracking ability where like you crack their shield and you see footprints and stuff like that. That's cool. That's really cool. I like that a lot. I think that's a really dope concept, and I know we've seen that before in other games. Like I know Bloodhound has a version of that. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I think there was a couple others that had it as well, but I specifically remember Black Ops 3 having it, where it was just like you could see, but that was like you could see all footprints. Whereas this is like, hey, there's a condition for this. You do have to break the shield. You know, this is one of those games where like, you know, you generally when you have like crazy skins in a game where like customization and cosmetic options where you're just like very bright skins and whatnot, or just like I'd say like Arc Raiders, right? Arc Raiders has some like colorful skins and whatnot, and their environment can be colorful, but like in here it seems like being a monotone color, or like being something like, I mean, it's like the camo is the bright colors. Like that's how you blend in, is by having these bright colored options, which is like a kind of a cool difference. You can actually like do some cool stuff cosmetically and know you're still gonna do some neat stuff. And you know
Vandal
you're
is
still
a
gonna
shell
like
that is just by its very. You can use it to knock people out of cover. You can use it to knock people off of buildings, which is way more fun than knocking them out of cover.
Yeah.
the number of times we've
So it's gonna be pretty interesting. So this kind of seems like for all your like movement tech people, all your players that like really vibe with like crazy movement, this is definitely going to be the move for them. She seems like a lot of fun, but I think that, okay, here's what I think. Compared to the other characters that we've seen so far, it seems like from an outside perspective that maybe she's not as good as the other characters. But I would argue that somebody who gets really good at Vandal is going to be just as good as any of those other characters. I mean, just having advanced movement, and especially if they know the map, if you know, like, this is going to be one of those characters where if you have a mastery over gunplay, the systems, and like you have good spatial awareness and whatnot, and you are like used to the movement and know how to use it, very deadly character, man. Very deadly character. Yeah, I mean, that arm
knock
cannon
people off
looks
of
like
field
it'll be
maintenance.
really
It's like,
dope.
this is a great
It's like
thing.
just a lot of fun. But I think it's also like she's a very simple character. So
Marathon is a game that is all about
Now,
finding
Thief,
the best stuff on the map.
this
So
is an
we felt like
interesting
we needed to
character
have a
because I
shell
think
that
this
was
kind of touches on
sort
something.
of
Okay,
built for the
let's look at look at this.
the best stuff on the map. So we felt like we needed to have a shell that was sort of.
Look at that. You can see everything that's lootable, but not just everything that's lootable, but you can see the rarity of it. See, here's the thing, right? When you go into an extraction and you have like hotly contested areas, or like places that are going to have harder AI, they're going to have a lot of players coming after there because they're marked as high loot areas, like rare loot areas and whatnot. Having Thief on your team to scope out that place, and you and your team, you just bum rush this place. You go there as fast as you can. You have your Thief scan the whole place, and then you just grab, you skip everything that's not like purple or gold. You just grab all purple and gold. You just start pinging it, dude. And you load up, get out. Like, I'm talking like quick, fast runs, fast extractions with really high loot yields. I think that Thief is going to be essential for a lot of farming runs. I think, and like, look, they've already got a Recon here with her. I mean, she can tell you where all the loot is. Recon can look where all the AI are, where all the players are, anything else like that. And then your third slot can just be like literally anybody else, right? Like, you can just throw somebody else in there.
Elegant origami.
So this drone right here, right? Not only are we going to be able to use it as like a recon tool, but you're going to be able to steal loot from enemies. You're going to be able to take things from them. That's cool. You know, like, it's such a cool concept. And also, like, it works as like a grapple point.
Butterfly.
If we look over...
built-in grappling device that is embedded right in the that pulls you
look at
along
that.
and you can swing away
See that?
to safety.
So it's kind of like the grapple from Destiny, although it looks like it works like, okay, it seems like it works better than the Destiny grapple, but it kind of works exactly the same, right? Even to the degree of like it's pulling you towards the point that you've grappled towards, and it can be grappled to any point including midair, right? Now, my question would be, in Destiny and a lot of other games, you can grapple onto enemies or moving objects and pull yourself towards those moving objects. It, based off of at least mechanically how this thing looks like it works, I would doubt that you could do that, but that's a small price to pay, right? I mean, like, you're really just using this thing for movement, and I doubt you have a thief that's going to be going too crazy on the combat when there's a lot of other combat-oriented characters that would do a little bit better at that. But I mean, you could still go crazy with it, but yeah.
The recharge rate for the grapple,
we know what all the
base
hunters are
handling and stats
choosing,
will go
right?
up as you fill the backpack.
Assassin
So the
and thief.
idea is to become a loot goblin, right? Steal as much as you can and get out.
Yeah, see that passive, loading up, the more you load up on loot, the faster your abilities come back. Huge, right? That's such a good ability to have, honestly. Like, yeah. And then we got triage,
For
right?
support players, if you want to keep your allies kicking so they can
This
kick
is
back,
cool
we
because
have
I feel
triage
like
for you.
support
They're
usually
equipped with
lacks
these awesome
something.
like
Okay, I thought I saw that earlier. So the gauntlets, you can lock onto 2 people. You could either res both your teammates at once, or in this case, you're resing a teammate and killing an enemy player. All right? Like, that's such a good ability. And I mean, and at like the range on that is really, really good. I think another thing that's nice about triage is like, with a lot of support frames with stuff like this, it's like they're really good at keeping your allies alive, but like they never really have much to like help themselves in a fight. But I mean, let's look at 2 things here, right? This buddy, right? That buddy,
face
I
and
think
give
what gives
him
him
a high
a
five and
shield.
send him on his way, and he'll come and hover over your shoulder and provide you with shields and health.
Yeah, provides you with
Triage is
shields and
really-
health. That's so busted. Like, that's really, really nice. That's a good
combat
ability.
medic.
Triage
So
is
we
going to
really
be
needed
like,
to give an
I
ability
feel like a
that was
must-have
useful for firefights.
and a lot of stuff.
They've got 2 traits. The first one is a trait ability called Battery Overcharge, where they overcharge their capacitive gauntlets, which makes their weapons performance better. And if you're using
That's
battery
nice.
weapons specifically, breaking shields will EMP targets, and that becomes an on-ramp to like a whole new layer of build crafting.
Breaking shields EMPs the target. Brother. That's so good.
And then they have the second trait, shareware, which is really cool, which is any buddies that have medi drones on them, any consumable you use will get like copied to them. So you kind of almost are this like battle medic that's like constantly running triage
That's
on your team.
so good.
Sometimes
Yeah, dude, triage is gonna be amazing. Dream team, bro, I don't even know. Triage has got to be on there. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. It kind of makes sense for Triage, Thief, Recon, but I feel like at that point, all three of those characters are very like support oriented, so they don't have like the same combat oriented stuff as like, which I guess Vandal doesn't technically have combat oriented things that it's using. I guess Destroyer is the only real one that has like damage, like real damage based things that it's got going on. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. They've done something really good here where I feel like most of the time when I go and I watch something on a game and I see that like, you know, you got a bunch of different class options, I already know which one I'm going to main. I have no clue what I'm going to main. No clue. These all look so good. Rook is pretty straightforward. It's a free loadout. And he has a prime ability that allows you to blend in with all the other AI. They will not shoot you. And I mean, honestly, what I would do, if the AI are fighting another team, I would just blend in with the AI and join them. You know? Can you imagine just joining up with an army? And now they got like, you know, Rook in there. I mean, the power play you could have and just taking out people. It depends on how long that ability lasts though, because it would suck if you like took out all the players and then the ability ran out and now you have to deal with all the AI by yourself, right? Yeah, guys. Yeah, dude. This is great. This looks really good. I'm really stoked for this. I really like the aesthetic. I really like and I know that it's an aesthetic that not everybody's crazy about. I know it's like it's FPS Roblox. I get it, you know, but I really vibe with it. I really like the whole aesthetic and theming and everything on there. And whenever they had the art mishap, or you know, where they stole a lot of somebody's work and whatnot, like, you know, that was bad. And I was kind of worried that that would mean that a lot of Marathon's theming and aesthetic would kind of go away. But I mean, they still nailed it. I mean, they still brought the aesthetic home, right? So I mean, there's nothing to be too concerned about. Do I have anything else to say about this? No, not right now. I'm gonna watch the other video. We're also gonna look at that and react to it. I want to dig into some lore, so I want to learn like what all is actually happening and going on here. You know what? I said we're gonna play finals, so we're gonna play a round of finals, and then we'll wrap it up.